Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hinnoke, together with Rev Yutaka Yamada. Today is Saturday, the 12th of July, 2025, or the 18th of June in the 13th year of Chongyalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, Chanji Champumninge, Kyombai, Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가존만세 8. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신의 일제 이상을 이루어 지산천국과 천산천국의 해방권과 속방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chongyalguk, pledges having entered the era of Chongyalguk to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Thank you. I'd like to share again the True Parents Prayer at the opening of the Lifetime Achievements of True Parents exhibition. Today is the day on which the exhibition of the Lifetime Achievements of True Parents has been opened in commemoration of the 57th anniversary of mission work in Japan and the 56th anniversary of the founding of the Japanese Unification Church, with the third anniversary of Songhua almost upon us. True Parents have walked the historic course of 57 years of blood, sweat, and tears in order to establish Japan, the enemy nation, at the center of the providence, and they have always worked together with the Japanese Unification Church to make it what it is today. Heavenly Parent, please help the people of Japan to practice the true love of living for the sake of others, the example of which you have set before us, so that they can indemnify every disloyalty they have shown in the course of providential history, and please guide them to stand at the center of the mainstream of providential history. Heavenly Parent, how hard you have worked to give birth to blessed families who can fulfill the promise to achieve the one world of peace, the one united world, which is the realization of the wish of our Heavenly Parent and True Parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. When we look upon the items exhibited here today, we can realize only too keenly how hard God has worked and how much effort and devotion He has given until now to embrace humankind. Please help all members of the Unification Church to follow in the footsteps of True Parents, so that they can do their utmost best and spur themselves on more and more in carrying out the work of establishing Chongyalguk. We hope and pray that you will embrace all blessed families living together with you in this proud age, and help them to make a firm resolution as of this moment, of this day, and to translate their resolution into action so that they can receive the award of being your proud filial sons and daughters and your loyal followers. We sincerely hope to become people who no longer desire to only receive, but who can instead share out what we have to others and embrace the 7 billion world population. Beloved True Parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, Heavenly Parent, we love you. We pray that you will hold us all in your embrace so that we can become proud, blessed families and second and third generations who can follow in the footsteps you have trod before us, as you set an example of the life we need to live. We also hope that All these items we have prepared will be a source of comfort and of joy both to you and to us. I report this in True Parents' name, Arju. Thank you, and let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka as he shares this morning.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining today's morning Hondoke. Today is Saturday, the last day of the week. Let's reflect the past and also let's prepare the next week. And let's also offer the sincere devotion to our heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you for joining today. I'd like to share the photo. So last night we had a churchman prayer. So thank you for attending churchman prayer. This is the Sydney side. To come to the Peace Embassy. So thank you. That was also a good prayer. Then not Singapore, New Zealand side. Thank you, our New Zealand brothers and sisters to join this churchman prayer. And Marshall Island and Palau. And this is Mifa, Samoa, but she's staying in Japan now. And also the Solomon Island. So actually there is chanson prayer every night, but basically Friday night, internationally all over the world will join together on Friday night. So your chanson and prayer is precious. Let's continuously offer the prayer and connect with our heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you for all brothers and sisters to attend the chanson prayer. Okay, so today let's continue to study the epic history of the chosen Han people of Korea, the story of the Korean people's spiritual calling. So let's study one by one, and this is new chapter 4, culture and tradition of attendance of heavenly parent. So now we are, especially this epic of Korea, we are studying about the history in Korea or Korean Han people. So there are several topics or several aspects, but all the time we could find how heaven is guiding and preparing those Korean Han people. So in this chapter, we can also see the several essence of the heaven's guidance. So we can see the thing, a culture of attendance to the heavenly parent. So let's start. Mrs. Kathy, please.
The culture and traditions of the Han people, who have long sought to live their lives in attendance to the heavenly parent, are deeply rooted in ethical and moral values. A culture of utmost filial heart, hyojong, and purity towards the heavenly parent was built on the tradition of practicing these values in daily life.
Yes, just a minute. Okay, thank you. So in this chapter, we will learn the culture which will attend heaven. So those culture is also flowing throughout the history of the Korean people and in the inside of the Korean people. So hyojong or purity, it's emphasized a lot, and especially hyojong. This is the filial piety. Original English calling is filial piety, I think, but through mother mentioned especially this filial piety is as the hyojong, the heart of filial piety. So this is one of the important elements in the history and also the culture of Korea. Please.
Hyojong and honoring one's ancestors. The hyojong, filial heart, traditionally practiced by the Han people, goes beyond repaying the debt of gratitude, bomyeon, to one's own parents. It is also the root of ethics, of human existence, and of fundamental self-respect, based on which people cherish and revere the source of all life. It is thus something that all people must practice. Filial devotion protects one's parents, one's family, and one's neighbors, becoming the driving force for overcoming national crises. It is the spirit that, beginning with the family, sustains the society and nation.
Yes, thank you. So, it's explaining about Hyojong or filial heart. So, Hyojong or filial heart is not only just a heart for two own physical parents, but also for the relative, for the neighbors, and especially for society or nation. So those things are not existing separately. They are connected, and their heart is also connected. That's why through learning or through having the hyojong or filial heart toward our parents, this will be automatically connected to society, nation, and of course to the heavenly parent. So we could see this essence of filial piety is not just a small level of family. Please.
In 1973, when Dr. Arnold Toynbee met a group of Korean politicians who were on a visit to London, he was moved to tears at what they told him about the Korean culture of filial piety, hyo. He praised it highly, saying, if the earth was destroyed and people had to move to a new planet, this Korean philosophy would be the very best cultural element they could have to go with. He added that with this filial piety as the basic value and spirit of the Korean people, they would be able to achieve rapid economic growth.
Yes, so this scholar, the Dr. Arnold Toynbee, is the famous person, and already he had also special meeting with Korean politician or peoples. So how beautiful a word he said. So I will read this one again. If the earth was destroyed and people had to move to a new planet, this Korean philosophy would be the very best cultural element they could have to go with. So that much, even this Dr. Twinby could recognize the beauty or greatness of Korean culture or this hyo, or filial piety, or hyojong. So this is the slide. Filial heart, hyojong, and honoring ancestors. Beyond repaying the physical parents, it is the fundamental basis of humanity that all people should practice. It is the spirit that sustains society and nation centered on the family. The Korean culture of filial piety show the fundamental value and spirit of the Korean people. So this is hyojong. So this heart or this attitude or this culture is the fundamental basis of Korea, and even it will be the fundamental basis of nation, not only in Korean nation, even can be the any kind of nation. Please.
The Hyojung filial heart of the Han people, expressed in the loving response of children in gratitude for the profound love they have received from their parents, has resulted in a significantly large number of historical texts and literature, stories and legends of filial piety that mold its practice. Revering the heavenly parent, they considered filial piety the foremost of the 3 bonds and 5 virtues taught by Confucian sages, and always strove to practice it by respecting and honoring their parents. Children were well behaved and careful in their words and actions in front of their parents. They also cherished the life and body given to them by their parents, and strove to bring joy to their parents by establishing their own name and place in society. As long as their parents were alive, the sons and daughters would greet them every morning and evening, prepare their beds for them at night, and offer care to support their parents' physical, financial, and mental well-being. In this deep-rooted culture of attending and honoring parents and ancestors, even after their parents' passing, the children would attend their graves daily for 3 years, holding memorial rites for their parents and ancestors with utmost sincerity.
Yes, thank you. So this is the culture toward the parents or even toward the ancestor. So can you imagine these things? Children will live for parents, even children sacrifice their life for the parents, and the children's purpose of living on this earth is also for the parents. That much the strong family culture were settled in Korea and also Korean Han people. So this also explaining the several tradition, and in our movement also three parents bring this culture into our movement as the tradition. So for example, Kyombe, bow to heavenly parent and three parents. This is not just a ceremony. This is the national greeting, natural culture in the Korean family. That's why when they greet some special occasion, respect the parents, grandparents, they gather together and bow to the parents. So this is kind of the attending tradition, attending parents, tradition for attending parents. And you can see after parents passed away, children stay in the parents' grave for 3 years. We saw our true mother's sincere special devotion to true father. So that kind of devotion are already settled throughout the history and in the tradition in the Korean people. Of course, recently our new age is a little bit different, but basically those traditions were already inherited from ancestor even to the current ages. Please.
The Joseon dynasty prime minister Hwan Hui in 1363 to 1452 was both an outstanding statesman and a filial son. When his parents became elderly, he practiced filial piety by resigning from his official position and returning to his hometown to care for them. After his father and mother passed away, he built a thatched hut near their graves and lived there for 3 years. This was in keeping with the Han people's long-standing tradition of children devoting a 3-year period of mourning to express the filial heart, hyojong, and respect they had not fully demonstrated while their parents were alive.
Thank you. So even politicians themselves is showing this culture to the people. So that much this attitude, these things is the natural things in Korea. So filial heart, hyojong, and honoring ancestors, practicing respect and filial piety toward the parents, e.g., greeting them courteously, providing daily care. The culture of honoring parents and ancestors through attending the parents' graves for 3 years, shimyo sari, and performing memorial ceremonies on anniversary dates. So you can see the 3 years, this attending 3 years, it called shimyo sari. So shimyo, kind of attending. And mother special chonsong is called shimyo chonsong, right? Shimyo, attending. Myo is, I think, grave. So attending grave, attending the parents, attending ancestor. So those culture are there. And this is one of the expansion or heart of the filial heart or filial piety. Okay, please.
The story of Shimjong, who loses her mother at a young age and lives with her blind father, taking care of him with utmost devotion, is much loved by the Korean people. In the story, Shimjong sacrifices her life by throwing herself into the sea to restore her father's eyesight. Through Shimjong's filial piety, Hyo, that moves heaven, father and daughter are later reunited, and the father regains his sight. This story's emphasis on the child's utmost filial love for her father depicts the filial heart of the Han people.
Yes, thank you. So the story of Shimcheon, Shimcheon. So this is a famous story in the Korea, and also our Universal Ballet. Universal Ballet is also using this story as the performance. So Shimcheon. These things is about the children and also the parent. So this daughter is not thinking for own life, but just sacrifice her life for own father and live for father. So this story is a beautiful story, and this is really teaching how important, how to live as the children toward parents. So in Korean people is learning those kind of story and they are growing up. So the filial heart, Hyojong, and honoring ancestor. You can see Hyonyo Shimcheong, Shimcheong. So this is the story of Shimcheong. Emphasis on children's filial heart, Hyojong, toward their parents. The story of Shimcheong, a filial daughter. That's why if you study this story, naturally you can understand what is the filial heart, what is the heart to offer her life to the parents. So please research yourself and also study these things. There are several important stories. One is Shimcheong, one is story of Chunyan. Later, this explanation is coming, and I think Nolbu or anyway several stories. So through famous story, we can also understand what kind of essence were taught to the Korean people. Please.
Honoring ancestors and practicing memorial rites, spending time to remember and express gratitude for the grace received from one's forebearers is an important cultural tradition that aligns with the Heavenly Parent's will. Moreover, this practice of filial piety has the function of strengthening family bonds and increasing social solidarity.
So Korean people really honor or treat the vertical things as the most precious value. And this is the culture of Hyojeon in the Korea and even Korean people. So the culture of purity, wait just a minute. So, and also in the same time, culture of the purity and chastity. The Korean people have a culture of purity and fidelity, living according to their conscience while revealing heaven. Beyond individual virtue, they maintain family honor and social trust. And women, exemplars of purity and fidelity, as virtuous mothers, they raise their children while attending heavenly parent, fulfilling their steadfast role among the Korean people. So this culture of purity and chastity is the important essence. I think those explanation is coming, the next slide. So anyway, those elements is also important. Okay, please.
A culture of virtue and familial love. The Han people cultivated a culture of purity and chastity, striving to live according to their conscience while revering heaven. Key moral values for accomplishing this include distancing oneself from self-centered desire, conducting one's life centered on the conscience, and maintaining order in both family and society. Keeping purity and chastity beyond being an individual virtue, was recognized as an important factor in maintaining family honor and social trust. Women, in particular, set examples of purity and fidelity and respected their parents. As wise and kind mothers, they raised their children to be virtuous and played a firm role in maintaining the Korean tradition of living in the service of the heavenly parent.
The Han people cultivated a culture of purity and chastity, striving to live according to their conscience while revealing heaven. Key moral values for accomplishing this including distancing oneself from self-centered desire, conducting one's life centered on the conscience, and maintaining order in both family and society. So this is the one of the important elements, the culture of virtue and family love and purity and chastity. When we study about the divine principle, when we study the human fall, what was the main cause of the human fall or beginning of the human history? And what was the key point to develop or decrease the society or nation and the world? This key element is actually the family, and the root or based on a fundamental value of the family is the purity and also chastity or fidelity. So depends on country. Maybe some country is emphasizing, but I think many countries not emphasizing this point about keeping purity or chastity or fidelity. But in Korea or even Korean Han people, those elements are really strongly taught as the absolute elements, and people accept it and also living together with will and also teaching to the next generation. So when we see at this point, also we could recognize how heaven prepared this nation or this people as the heaven's people or even the heaven's nation. So purity or chastity, those are already taught throughout the history. Please.
Shim Sandang, 1504 to 1551, was a scholar of the mid-Joseon period whose purity and fidelity is characteristic of countless Korean women. She showed outstanding talent in art and academic pursuits and is known for her lifelike paintings of plants and insects. Despite her outstanding talent, she always maintained a humble attitude, devoting her life to her family and neighbors. And as a wise mother and good wife, her ideas and virtuous conduct were widely known. Shim Samdong directly educated her children, encouraging them to devote themselves to reading and academic studies. Even when her son, Yolgok Yi, is it Yolgok Yi 1, 1536 to 1584, was playing outside, she instructed him to observe the mountains and rivers with a studious eye and taught him to have an academic perspective. Influenced by this, Yeoldok grew up to be one of Joseon's best-known Neo-Confucian scholars.
Thank you. So we could see there was those women scholar. So through her teaching, also the behavior, people also could receive the education. Please.
Another notable Joseon mother, the mother of Han Sok-bong in 1543 to 1605, has been compared to the mother of Chinese philosopher Mencius, 372 to 289 BC. She is described in the Chinese saying, Mencius' mother moved 3 times, which is often quoted to make the point that a parent should do anything they can for their children's well-being and education. Despite the Han family's poor circumstances, Han Suk-bong's mother did her best to provide her son with a rigorous education, and he developed into the best calligrapher in the Chosun period. She is respected for her emphasis on keeping the right mindset and living in a manner that underscores the importance of children's education.
So we can see this person is maybe the model of the mother figure. So as the woman, she was showing how to guide to the children. And this is also will be delivered or explained for the nation. Please.
A tradition of attending the Heavenly Parent in purity and fidelity has been passed down through numerous stories of virtuous women and men who valued remaining faithful to their spouses. Women in particular strove to be upright in mind and body, maintaining their purity before marriage and their loyalty and fidelity to their husbands thereafter. On a most beloved stories of the early Chosun period is the tale of Changhyun, the 13th century AD, which recounts the life of a woman who remained faithful to her husband, even though doing so put her life at risk.
So this is the another story. This called Chunyanjong. So the tale or story of Chunyang. So this is the famous one. So there is the explanation in the next slide, please.
The daughter of a Jisang female entertainer, Cho Hyung, secretly marries Yi Mong Yong, a nobleman. But when a new local magistrate named Byung Hokdo comes, he refuses to recognize their marriage. Despite being pressured to abandon Myung Yong, who is away studying for the civil service exam, and become one of the magistrate's concubines, Chan Hyung remains faithful to her husband, even under torture and the threat of death. She upholds her chastity and loyalty even in those most difficult circumstances. Eventually, she is reunited with Myung Hyung, who returns after passing the civil service exam, and they are able to begin their married life together. Chan Hyung's story illustrates the virtues of conjugal love and loyalty that are important in attending the Heavenly Parent.
Thank you. So there are many Korean words. It's not easy. First one is the Kisen. So the daughter of a Kisen, a female entertainer, and a main story is Chunyang. So Chunyang, story of Chunyang. Okay, so culture of purity and chastity. So Shim Samdong, explaining Korean women model of purity and fidelity, humility, wise mother and good wife, children's education, and mother of Han Sok-bong, a figure who exemplified dedication to children's education, and Chunyang, virtue of conjugal love and loyalty in attending Heavenly Parent. So we could see in the history of Korea, there are several famous women, and also they are showing those culture about the culture of filial piety, culture of purity, and also chastity. So this is the final slide today, please.
The Han people developed oneness of heart, connected to heaven, and a culture of family relationships and familial love through which they attend God as the parent of humankind, providing a valuable model for all people. This has shaped the spirit of the Han people to positively embrace a wide range of circumstances and overcome difficulties through divine inspiration, Shimmyong, Through this, they have cultivated the heart of hyojong, filial devotion, to attend heaven in any circumstance, laying the inner foundation to uphold heaven's will. Thus, throughout the history of the Han people, a culture of filial piety has developed through which people attend God as their parent, and which is visible in the family culture, marriage culture, and child-rearing culture devoted to heaven. This national character is built upon love for God and family, enabling people to overcome hardships and manifest the power to make the impossible possible.
Yes, thank you. So we could see the heavenly parents show the original ideal of some original ideal of the humanity or human family or human culture throughout the Korean history. That's why in each time period or each element we can see those how God and the heavenly parents was continuously guiding the Korean people. So Korean people are naturally learning and also receiving those education, and these contents are continuously inherited to the next generation. That's why even through those elements or kind of happening or the things itself are the important preparation for Korean people as the chosen people, and this become the important preparation to welcome the only begotten Son and only begotten daughter and our true father and true mother. So culture of purity and chastity, the Korean people possess a 한마음, oneness in heart, connected with heaven and family relationship and family love that attend heavenly parent. Formation of the divine inspiration, 신명 that can overcome any difficulty through the culture of filial piety, family culture, marriage culture, children rearing culture, and family love. They possess the creative power to make the impossible possible. So we could see how much emphasized about the family and also the this relationship. So through these things, we could also recognize the investment guidance of our heavenly parent. So today we share about this Korean epic in this chapter 4. So each chapter is short chapter, but in the each part there are important essence. So beside of this, if you can study individually in this each elements, this is also become the big help for your life and also our life of faith. So continuously study well and connect with our heavenly parent and true parents. So thank you for joining today's morning hun독회. Have a great time. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you very much, Rev Yutaka, for sharing with us and helping us to really understand the heart of heaven and and the heart of the Han people, how much it's really connected as one. This as culture and tradition of attendance to Heavenly Parent, this Shojon and purity, it really and bonded and connected the entire people as one, by upholding high ethics and morals, and it's all a gratitude to parents, and parents representing the heavenly parent, and providing that protection for the family that extends all the way to the nation, and so fostering a deep love and respect, and we saw in some of those images how the children are offering a full bow to the parents, and the parents are having a loving expression on their face, towards the child that's bowing. And so really, in that process of having that high standard, it's always embraced with love, so that the child feels the warmth and is inspired and encouraged to continue. I think it all comes from a deep love of heaven, that they incorporate as part of their tradition and culture and lifestyle and entire attitude. So it's not just a duty, but really a genuine love. And so it's not submission in any way, but it's a form of really giving deep respect and recognizing that without parents or our heavenly parents, there really is no life or existence of any value. So so this interesting how Arnold Toynbee, who is a very famous historian, made that acknowledgement that if everything's gone, but if to recreate humanity again, really having this utmost filial heart, would be the essence of regaining, the humanity, seeing it as being the best of humanity by honoring Heavenly Parent and each other. So that filial heart can really see is very deeply rooted in the Korean people, and it's something that is mentioned in Western philosophy and religion, but not really the core. It really is uh, uh, a core that we need to really learn from. And I think we are in this movement, attending our Holy Mother Han, that we are also developing that filial heart, and I think that's the cornerstone quality of Chongyulguk citizens that we are becoming. So I think it's something that um, uh, needs to be transferred to every generation. And with the pure water missionaries, I think that transference is going to be successful. And there's I know every family is different and has challenges, but if we can always uh, have that heart of deep love and respect that the filial heart offers, that the future is always bright. So anyway, some of my thoughts this morning. So thank you, and open it up to anyone else that'd like to share. So thank you. Yes, Cassie, go ahead.
Just to fill in the gap. During the 1988 Olympic Games, Reverend Ito was there and Johnny, myself. We were inviting people to come to watch the Shimjong Ballet. And it was so beautiful. At the time, though, the Japanese were filming it, so we couldn't express, we couldn't yell out, we couldn't keep, we couldn't say anything. But I was sitting next door to some Middle Eastern, they were martial artists, and they were just so overwhelmed with the beauty and expression of the ballet. And they called out, they kind of expressing themselves as you do, and they had to put their hands over their mouths. It was quite funny, but it was so beautiful to watch and so lovely to see that ballet.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Reverend Stone, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I was taken a bit this morning by how it explained that filial piety was, as it said, I'm just looking for it now, was the foremost of the three bonds and the five virtues taught by Confucian sages, and always strove to practice it by respecting and honor their parents. So anyway, that was interesting. I'd like to find out what those three bonds and five virtues are taught by Confucius sages. But also it goes on to explain how if you have filial piety as that basic root, then it extends to create a new, beautiful society, where there's social bonds. And so that's why it's the root, it's so important. And unfortunately it's rare, but God chose Korea to really develop that one to such an extent as, the chosen people. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mm. 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 Yeah, still a little bit of time if anyone wants to share. I know everyone's tired from doing the Chongson One Vigil prayer. And that's and as you may know, I'm here in Melbourne with the Youth and Children's Workshop, and part of the workshop actually today, this Saturday, the children and youth will experience doing the Chongson One Vigil Prayer. We're going to include it as part of the program from 8 p.m. Till 10 today, and so they'll get to share that experience of prayer, and hopefully help them to develop the way to pray as a permanent sort of fixture in their life of faith, so they can do yes, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, just to sort of
sort of distinguish between tradition is more like external, and it's like we do it even when we don't want to do it. Like Christmas, because we always gather at Christmas time, but even though everybody argues, but because it's a tradition, we go, So God sort of created the external first, the body, and so the spirit grows inside, and just that beginning. Kids don't know why they need to bow in the beginning, but it's just the form, and then later on the heart comes. And I think even ourselves, we try to keep the tradition, but inside it we need to develop the heart to really love the tradition, yeah. Anyway, just sort of reflecting on that really, and especially the importance of stories. And I've mentioned this before probably, but when I was young, we had to put money in our bank account when we were primers, when we were 7 years old. We took like half a crown to school once a week, and we had a saving, the squirrel who saved the nuts for winter. And as a result, in my own life, I always have a little bit of spare, because of that kind of mindset, And I remember when I was in Zambia, they had a tradition. One of the stories they taught the kids was, I mentioned this before, but for the sake of this anecdotal story to remind us that the kids were told about the rabbit who was very sneaky, and he always tricked the farmer and was able to, steal the carrots on the way to the market, sort of thing. As a result, there's a huge problem of petty theft in the nation. So these kind of stories we tell kids are really important to develop a certain kind of mindset, for the future. Okay, that's my
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Yes, Suemi, you wanted to say?
Just fill the gap. I was thinking Shinchon the star, the Hunsknim, the Hunjinim's wife. I think when ballet, universal ballet time, before Little Angels, I think she plays that one, right? I think Hunsknim play that one. I just remember Hunsknim, so yeah. And also, Shinmyon mentioned about formation, the divine inspiration, Shinmyon. I just Googled the English word, the God. But I remember the New York, the seminary president or the chairperson was Dr. Shinmyon. He who was 777 couples. I think his name was Shinmyon. I said, that's an amazing name. I just remember his name. I think Dr. Shinmyon. That's his name, I think. I thought it was an amazing name because his daughter came to Little Angel School when we were living in Korea, and his wife's name was Sumie. So he remembered my name because I'm Suemi. I just remember just a little word different, but yeah, Dr. Shinmyon. Yeah, I just remember his name. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, it is time now for us to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just share the screen. Yes. And let's pray together. Thank you. Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone, and thank you again, Rev Yutaka, for sharing. And I hope everyone has a great day. And see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.